What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MKE MANIACI, and today we're going to be checking out what culture wrestling, why WWE will have its best year ever in 2025. Man, let's get it.
We had a fantastic year. Like, ever since Cody Rhodes won that WWE Championship at WrestleMania 40, it's a bit like, oh man, I think they're onto something here. Turns out it was true. There's no belt in my hand. Maybe one of the other best things they did as well is re-establish these B pay-per-views, premium live events, as something you had to tune in for.
Facts.
Which is actually what they could be used as we build to 2025. Because hot damn, my friends, I think the next 12 months may be even better. Why? Here's why. Do you want to know what else was really good about 2024? The post-WrestleMania lull, because there wasn't one. Because for years, once WrestleMania was done, we all expected business.
I think there kind of was. It was a little bit, at least a couple of months. It was like a little bit of a lull. Roman did go, and it was a little bit of a lull. It was a little bit.
Business to drop for a bit until we got to SummerSlam, also known as Hot WrestleMania, and it picked up again. But instead, as each month did pass, the shows that we were delivering, well, they stood up under their own weight. So fans were like, all right, cool, I'll hang around. Now the bubble will burst eventually because that's just the way it does happen, but there ain't no way it's gonna be in 2025, because even if we start in January, well, huge big things are coming. Now I am, of course, referring to the fact that Raw is moving to Netflix in the USA, and most countries like the UK is getting all WWE stuff on there. And as I always tell you when we do talk about this, my mum has seen WWE on Netflix and gone, oh, that WWE thing you like is on my red streaming service. And she's 100% right. And if she's been made aware, well, who knows who the hell's gonna tune in? So even if this just increases awareness, that helps with social media and people just talking about the company. And do you know what is gonna tie into this? Oh, the super duper whooper big return. Now let's not pretend that the current roster isn't smashing it, because they've done a terrific job. But very soon, once again likely in January, The Rock is gonna come back. And do you know who's gonna be sniffing his heels? Not literally, John Cena. And the fact that this could all go down on that 6th of January episode of Raw, that's absolutely ridiculous. You may as well call it Hall of Fame Central. Both these...
You know, I think they have options of what they can do with The Rock on the first Raw on Netflix. Because, I mean, we're having Roman versus Solo. I personally expect The Rock to get involved in some way in that match. Maybe Roman does defeat Solo. Rock comes out, thinks he's going to congratulate Roman, and bam, Rock bottom. People's elbow. Rah! Could do that, but we could also revisit the John Cena thing. I don't think doing the John Cena thing that soon would make much sense. I mean, maybe they have a little pass by in the locker room or backstage or whatever, but entrance ramp maybe, but I don't think they should interact. Not that soon. I would be honestly okay if they never had a match again, honestly. And I'm a huge fan of John Cena, right? Y'all know this, but yeah, I just feel like let that be in the time that it was, man, honestly.
These guys are going to be involved in WrestleMania 41, I would assume, too. So there's all your way into April. Plus, yeah, even when they can't be on the show, you've got Cody Rhodes and you've got Roman Reigns. And have you seen their numbers? I don't understand how they're both doing it. It's like they've got wonderful synergy. People are still going to follow Dwayne Johnson and John Cena, though, because they do have these massive followings. And if we do get to Mania, and we are going to do The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, well, hot damn, that's like a once-in-a-lifetime dream match I don't think any of us thought we'd ever going to get. Imagine I told you in 2016, you'd have slapped me. If you don't want to do that either...
Imagine you would have said it in 07 when Cody Rhodes came out, that... If you remember his first theme song, man, you would have said it back then. Hey, one day, in about 15 years, Cody Rhodes, this the one with the plain, no character cam. Yeah, he's going to face The Rock in the main event of WrestleMania 41. I would have laughed. Come on now.
You could make it a triple threat with Roman Reigns. And while there's an argument we can have, if you were trying to spark the interest of the casual fan, well, yeah, go do that. Put all three of them in a ring. You also have these...
That honestly makes the most sense. I mean, I know we want Roman and Rock singles match, but just for the sake of the card, for it to make the most sense, Roman still hasn't got his rematch clause technically against Cody Rhodes. And people are forgetting that Roman Reigns could win the Royal Rumble. I know a lot of people saying they're saying Cena and CM Punk, great options by the way, but Roman Reigns could also win the Royal Rumble and challenge Cody, and then The Rock, being The Rock, he's the final boss. He inserts himself into this match. It could happen.
Rumors that maybe Cena's big story is him going for his world record breaking 17 title run. And we should do that. At WrestleMania, we should do Gunther versus John Cena.
Facts.
And do you know what happens to Johnny Boy? He loses in April. Then he spends every single month towards the end of 2025 until he has his rematch. And he does win. Then he walks off into the ether. I mean, if anyone does.
I like that idea too. You know, I originally predict that it will be John Cena versus Gunther at WrestleMania. I think it makes the most sense. It'll be a great headline for night one of WrestleMania. And with it being John Cena's final Mania, you know, for him to possibly win number 17 at WrestleMania 20 years after he won number 1. I'm telling you, it makes so much sense. Even though it was the WWE title, world title, it's still a world championship. 20 years later, man, it makes the most sense. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of he loses at WrestleMania, and then the rest of the tour, the next 8 months, he's trying to get back to it. He might even win it in one of his final matches. Who knows, man?
Deserves that. It is Cena. And I tell you, I would have water coming out my seeing devices. And I get that's not the business way to do things, but I saw how well AEW pulled this off with Sting. And if you do want someone to sit on the top of how many world titles did you win mountain, who would you give it to other than John Cena? I mean, backstage, everyone's told on commentary, you call him the GOAT. I think they think quite highly of it. It also means you have a hook to draw people in for 12 months, and it's that age-old story of the last gunslinger having his final fight.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that tale, and admittedly, usually that guy gets killed, but we're in control, man. Just change the book. You're also going to get massive pay-per-views, premium live events all over the place.
Facts.
Because look at SummerSlam. In 2025, WWE has already told us, we're going to make it 2 nights.
Quite
literally, we want to make it hot WrestleMania. So you can't drop the ball there, and already now at the end of 2024, someone should be going, well, this is the match we should do at the end of that show, and it's probably going to be gangbusters. You're also going to have to sell a lot of seats, so make sure the stars are on that one. And SmackDown in the USA has a very interesting role to play now, because WWE is going to want to appease their TV partners, because it's the last TV partners they have. It just means there's no area where they can slip up. I mean, maybe they start doing a bunch of dumb stories. They go back after they lose 2 to 3 years, they're not actually telling that many dumb stories. Even if somehow we did lose John Cena and The Rock talking about WrestleMania, and we did Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton instead, do you see me getting upset about this? No. If you tell that tale properly, and you go into their past...
Oh, this is the Cody Rhodes I was talking about, man. Come on. So much history with Cody and Randy. Initially, months ago, I would have said this was a lock for WrestleMania 41. Now, looking at it, it's going to be Randy versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 41. That seems to be where they're going right now. Cody still has unfinished business with Roman and The Rock. But I could see Randy and Cody going down at SummerSlam. Whether one of them go heel, I think, everyone's going into it expecting Randy Orton to turn heel. I think it might be time to pull the trigger on maybe a heel Cody Rhodes leading up to SummerSlam. Or maybe at SummerSlam, Cody just beats the hell out of Randy Orton and turns heel. Talk about a swerve. Come on now. You got to get the people talking.
Well, on one level, it may actually be even more interesting. I mean, we know that Randy keeps looking at this belt like it is the One Ring. Kevin Owens has totally lost it. So we are already arranging these chess pieces, and it makes me want to watch the product. That's the whole point, man. As long as I do want to tune in, you did things right. You can also just take somebody like Jey Uso and come up with some plans for him in 2025. Because the report recently is that in October 2024, he sold more merchandise than Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
Crazy.
So, sorry, if I book in WWE and I've got this cool Jey Uso, you bet your ass I'm going to figure out something to do with him and make myself some money. Even though we have brought up CM Punk too.
And initially I thought we're going to get the Usos back together. They're going to have, WrestleMania, and it could still happen. Jimmy and Jay could team up to try to capture one of the tag team championships. But at this point, I don't know. I kind of like what, Jay has been able to do as a singles competitor. One day the Usos will come back together, but Jay is killing it right now. No shade to Jimmy. Jimmy, you know, he's hurt right now. He's gonna come back and he's gonna kill it as well. But damn it, Jay's doing his thing.
Don't forget the magic of that guy. I mean, think of all the people he could feud with. Because thanks to long-term storytellings, we can now talk about Seth Rollins, Gunther, Cody, Kevin Owens, go look into that one, and my word, there's Roman Reigns. I mean, given the teasers already and the fact the centerpiece would be Paul Heyman, if WWE did get to the summer of 2025, it's like, oh my gosh, things aren't going well, you could just pull the trigger on this, and I'm sorry, would blow the roof off the place.
Facts.
They also have so many stories to tell. If we do go the reality route, well, I promise you this, your brain is going to explode.
You gotta make Roman look good.
We also know they're just the promo kings, so I would be so into that. So when I take 2025 and I put it in a nice neat little package, well, it's something I want to be given for Christmas. I mean, you start the year by people going, oh, WWE on Netflix, I'll make sure I check that out. And then you could end the year with John Cena being the champion. So all these random individuals, well, they're probably going to stick around like a stick. Doesn't work. It also really doesn't matter if they're not there week to week because, again, Netflix will make it eternal. But also, even if you are driving them to your social media channels, it just means more people are talking about WWE. And that usually means if they do come to your town, you're like, oh man, let's go check it out. Then WWE will charge you like $8,000 for a ticket. We have to stop paying it, otherwise it's not going to change. That's a sidebar. There's also the fact that pre-WrestleMania now, WWE is coming to Europe, and they're not just doing a tour, but they are putting a bunch of Raw and SmackDowns on TV. And
this is different. You know, they've always normally, like in the past, it was what, like end of April, and then they would go back in like November to overseas. This is very interesting to me, you know, considering the Raw being on Netflix and the time slots. You know, Raw's gonna air no matter what time it is. So they could go to one of these places and record Raw at 10 a.m. Guess what? Monday at 10 a.m. while we're all at work. Hopefully I ain't working by this time. But while we're all at work, Monday Night Raw is gonna be on. It's gonna be on. Then you gotta take your phone out of work, possibly risk losing your job, all because, but then again, that saves spoilers, which I do like that. But it makes me wonder though, so like, let's say next holiday season, Triple H gonna give, you know, the girls and guys some days off. Do we get best of episodes? You know, the show must go on. Raw is a continuous running show, you know, so it would be interesting to see what they do there. You know, maybe we do get maybe that's an exception to just on-demand taped Raw to check out when you want. I don't know. It's interesting.
The reason why they're doing it is because they want to keep us happy too. Yeah. I remember back in the day when they just come to Europe and go, here's the Rebellion pay-per-view or Insurrection.
Insurrection, yeah, I was going to say Insurrection.
You pay a lot of money or buy it on pay-per-view. It was just a glorified house show, how dare you. You also know the fact the fans are now into this idea of Jacob Fatu versus Bron Breakker. So you could start even putting the paces in place for that in 2025.
I would love to see that.
WWE has to be thinking about this as well. Because if you do have two young hot stars, and you're like, oh my gosh, that could be a future main event, well, cement it now, man.
Facts.
Build the castle. It really is mad to think how far we've come. Because again, if you do go back to even 2019, that was a mess. So seriously, if somebody wanted to walk into my house right now and say, I think WWE in 2023 was one of the best years they've ever had, I'd have to ponder it. But by that same token, if you threw in 2024, well, once again, I would seriously think about it again. They really have done very, very well. So if you are able to come out swinging in 2025, maybe that surpasses them all, especially because Charlotte Flair has to come back, Becky Lynch has to come back, and imagine you could spread that out over a couple of months. People, once again, are just going to be losing their mind. The NXT Women's Division is so packed it almost feels unfair. And then once again...
Bro, NXT Women's Division is not being talked about enough. They are killing it right now. I'm saying.
Leading into WrestleMania 41, you could do Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. That is going to have a ton of build.
It's going to happen. Jade and Bianca has to happen at WrestleMania 41. I know we're still trying to figure out who attacked Jade. Right now on TV, they're making it look like it's Naomi. They're trying to put the blame on Naomi. I think it's Bianca. Then again, I saw something that it could be Lash Legend and Jakara. Maybe, what if it is Lash Legend and Jakara and Bianca put them up to it and we get a stable with Bianca, Jakara, and Lash? I don't know. I could see maybe Bianca being the culprit and her being heel. Going in the rest, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And I think if you sold it the right way, it could feel absolutely massive. The women's tag team titles were even featured throughout 2024,
man,
which is a huge change. So yeah, just look at all of the above. I feel like we're in good shape. I mean, you also know that Julia and Stephanie Vaquer are eventually going to be caught up, and they will just keep this going.
Yeah.
As long as we can sort out the men's tag team division, I don't really see that many holes. And even if we don't, it's just wrestling, I'm not going to mind, and I will still find my peaches and cream. But once again, if I was an executive on the WWE board, I would be pretty excited and optimistic. I mean, there is every chance that Raw and SmackDown will jump to 6 hours a week, which will be quite difficult, but let's put a positive spin on it. It does mean there's more opportunities for the roster to shine, and I like looking at the human side. Oh, these guys just want to live their dream. Let's give them the best chance. I really am confident and excited, and I think as a fan, we should all feel the same way as well. Who knows? Maybe even The Rock wins the Royal Rumble, or The Rock wins the WWE title, which will separate the audience right down the middle.
The Rock winning the Royal Rumble, they have to be very careful. You gotta be very, very careful with this, man. Like, wrestling fans aren't really receptive. We seen it happen with Batista. You know, you think that, hey, everyone's gonna love Batista's back. Then he wins the Rumble, and it's like, But The Rock kind of, I don't know. I feel like it won't be as negative, but there's options. This Royal Rumble is very hard to predict. There is a lot of options. Years past, you could pretty much pinpoint who's going to win it. This year, you got Rock, you got Cena, you got CM Punk, you got Roman. There's options. Why did they do CM Punk versus Seth on first Raw on Netflix? What if Seth wins? I don't know. It's a lot.
Me to make a bunch of content. So maybe that's really what I'm talking about here. But now I can escape. Goodbye. Now, of course, please do let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Maybe you think 2025 is going to totally suck. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. 2025
is going to be a bigger year than 2024 was, man. 2024 was just massive, revolutionary. The biggest WWE has been since the Attitude Era, if not bigger, man. Talk about the money, the sellouts, like they are going crazy. And 2025 is not going to be any different. If anything, it's going to be even more exciting, more exhilarating. And it's the GOAT, John Cena's farewell retirement tour. I'm hoping to go to a show. When they come, I'm going for sure. Link down below in the description leads y'all right to this video for y'all to check it out in its entirety with no interruptions. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. And until the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank y'all for tuning in to MKE MANIACI. I'm out.